everybody, Dr. Rich here with the Distill It with RichardListens team. I'm here with Peter, and
Hello.
We are live in Stanford University, and we're here being joined by academic, scholar, and future NFL prospect, soon, very near future, Mr. Jordan Watkins, number 75. And we are talking about today his collegiate career here at the prestigious Stanford University. And Peter, what do we want to start with?
So we've heard a little bit about Jordan's background, and he was brought up in Georgia and decided on Stanford University, and that's where you have spent your collegiate football career. So I think to start with, what's really fascinating for us and our audience is Stanford, it's Ivy League of the West. I mean, this is like when you say student athletes, you got to be a student to play football here.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that, the whole thing, juggling high academic level with playing, at the highest level of college football.
Well, I think that the high school I went to since it was such a very rigorous academic school as well, that actually helped me a lot with my transition to Stanford. And one, for learning how to deal with tough assignments or long papers, but also just a standpoint of learning how to organize everything, where I would get home, and anybody who played high school football understands, you get home for practice maybe about 7 or something, you still have to eat and things like that, but at the same time find time to study or do homework and all that. So just the fact that I had a system in place from high school where I did that, it helped a lot with the transition to now in college in a place like Stanford.
Yeah, so I guess I want to come at it from a couple angles. Number one, what's tools or system did you develop that helped you keep organized to manage your academics and athletics at such a high level? And was there any person or persons that helped you kind of stay on that track?
Sure. I'd say first, and this was something new to college, because in high school, pretty much from the first bell starts to the last bell, you're in class. Whereas in college, you have so much more free time. But I think that just in high school, whenever I did have a chance to get some work done, whether it be I was done with a certain class a little early, so I had time to pay attention to another assignment, I would do it then. And so even in college, that kind of stuck with me as well, where it might be, okay, I don't have another class for a few hours, and I'm not extremely tired, so I don't necessarily need to take a nap now. I can go ahead and get something else done. And going forward with the question, I know as a freshman coming in, you have mandatory study hall. And Coach Lynn, when he was here, he would be all over us about making sure we were in study hall, and not just physically there, mentally locked in as well.
Yeah, I heard it's optional at some universities, but not at Stanford.
Not at first. The first, I can't remember if it was the first 2 quarters or something along those lines, but you had to be here. And so while you're here, you might as well get some work done. So I think, I have to thank Coach Lynn for the work that he did early on to just help me stay on track with all of that.
So he takes a personal investment in the athletes as students?
He did. He definitely did. He's retired now. He'll stop by every now and then and still will ask us, how we're doing on the field, off the field. He still watches us, actually. I remember the last time he came in and we were just talking about, how I was playing and things like that. So it was good to have someone like him around.
And so now when you're playing at this level of football, Stanford, what's it feel like competing at that level, running out into the field with 80,000 fans watching you?
Well, since I'm an East Coast person, a lot of the places that are out here, it was kind of like, whoa, this is, it's actually happening. Because where, for me, it'd be, you only see the Coliseum on TV, or you only see the Rose Bowl on TV. Oregon, Notre Dame, just some of the iconic stadiums there are in college football. And now all of a sudden, I'm actually there.
Yeah.
And so, I remember my freshman year when I got a chance to travel, even though I was redshirting, I got a chance to travel to Notre Dame since that was the closest to home we would play.
Mm-hmm.
And so just being on that campus and seeing, Touchdown Jesus and just everything that you'd always see or hear about Notre Dame, then be there in person was unbelievable. And then, of course, we went to the Rose Bowl and played Wisconsin that year. And again, I always thought on TV, seeing the grass, I was like, the grass just looks greener. I don't know if that's like a TV effect or what, but it just does.
Yeah, that's what it is. Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And when I was there, I was like, no, this grass really just is, how they set up the field and everything. It was just beautiful. And I just had to take a step back and really just soak it all in.
So that's interesting because here on the, I think what Peter's saying is here you're in this intense environment. There's all these people watching. You're here to play football. On the other hand, you're a human being in these places that are famous.
Right.
And it sounds like you were able to strike that balance between appreciating the moment and still getting up for the game.
Right. And once the whistle is blown and the ball's kicked, every field is the same. Still the 100 yards, but I think 55 and a third or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Every field's the same. But before that, you're running out the tunnel, or the other team's running out the tunnel. You can't help but just sit there and appreciate it for a second.
Mm-hmm. And so, psychologically, Richard's a sports psychologist. What is it like preparing for game day, on a psychological level?
It is, I would say the best way to explain it, everything just kind of slows down for a second because you're so geared up. You want Saturday to be here. You want to get ready to go. But you also know at the same time you have to make sure all your preparation's right. You have to watch all the film you need to watch, study their tendencies and things like that, but at the same time also looking at what you've done maybe in the past game or in the practices leading up to this game. And then, of course, you have your weight training and your practices and all that. So while you definitely enjoy doing all that with your teammates and everything, at the same time, you're just kind of sitting there can it be Saturday? Can
There's
it be game time
some
already?
anticipation.
Exactly, definitely.
So maybe can you give us one thing you and Jordan Watkins do Saturday morning or hopefully on Sunday mornings to prepare yourself, and one thing maybe is a team that you did that stuck with you.
Okay. I would say one thing we did as a team, and I always enjoyed this, the night before we would always have a team movie. And it was just a really cool moment because
Inspirational stuff or it could be funny stuff?
Sometimes it'd be inspirational. Sometimes it was funny. We watched Dodgeball before, but at the same time we've also watched Creed. Or was it 13 Hours? I believe was the movie. So it's ranged all over, but just a good time to just relax and have fun with everyone on the team, and then because it's after that's over, you're right back in the game mode. For me, one thing I always try to do is I like to just walk up and down the field, before a lot of people are out there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and again, it's just another chance for me to just soak everything in. This is, a lot of people don't get this opportunity, so enjoy it and just really soak in where I am, whether it be across the street at home or even the last game in El Paso, Texas. So
yeah, that must have been pretty emotional, right? Your last game in a Stanford Cardinal uniform.
That was interesting because I thought you think about it. There was our last game during the regular season was a home game, so it was senior day. And so just emotions, of course, running up to that game, they were at a high. And then once the game started, like I said before, every game pretty much is kind of the same. But it was the same thing again for the Sun Bowl because it was literally, this is the last time, I get to put on the white helmet with the red S and white tree on it. And that since that game was so intense, there was definitely not a time where I was thinking during the game, this is my last game. But once it was over and we were celebrating and everything, it was like, oh, that was it. You know.
So the next step in Jordan's evolution is the National Football League. And we are going to talk about that in our next video. But Jordan, thank you for joining us for this segment.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's amazing for Dr. Richard and I to be here with Jordan, and it's exciting. And I know that 12 years from now, Dr. Richard and I are going to be sitting around talking like, man, watching football, like, can you believe we were sitting in this little media room office with Jordan Watkins 12 years ago, man? It's going to be amazing. So be looking out for the next video, but I'm Peter Soby with the Distill It with RichardListens show. Thanks again, Jordan,
Oh,
and
thank you.
Dr. Richard.
Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us.